Welcome to the New Author Podcast, a weekly podcast diary starring Jerry Evanoff and Rich Kacy. Join them weekly as they talk about writing, publishing, and marketing their books. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the New Author Podcast. I'm going to start it again just for kicks. There we go. I didn't mean to start it. I can't get this intro right. Someday I'll get it right, but it's too much. I need a producer. I need somebody who's like off to the side, not on the podcast.
That's right. Just put you in front of the microphone and have somebody behind the glass wall with the bank of dials and knobs and stuff.
I'm the entertainment. I'm not the IT guy. Come on.
That's right.
All right, let me do this real. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the New Author Podcast. Today is Thursday, June 19th, 2025. This is episode number 314. Oh, it's like our pie episode. We should have had pie ready. Oh, that's disappointing. I don't even know when we could do it again. There's never going to be another 314. Let's start a new podcast, new title.
Okay.
314 episodes from now, we have pie. I like that idea. I'm one of the hosts of this podcast, Jerry Evanoff, and with me, sweating profusely, apparently, is Rich Kacy. Rich, why are you sweating profusely?
Well, it's because it's cooled off and it's 105 degrees here.
Okay, good. It's nice that you get a cool time.
Yeah, like an idiot, I spent the whole day outside, and looking at my screen, it looks like I'm res beat, and that's probably actually accurate.
You're not actually sweating profusely. I just said that because you told me before we started that you were outside.
Yeah. Well, I sucked myself down. Actually, I can't sweat profusely because in the time I was out there, I lost 5 pounds. So I think I wasn't drinking enough.
There you go. Nice.
But anyways, happy Juneteenth to everybody, and I hope you had the day off. Everybody out there in podcast.
I know you're talking to everybody, but I'm answering. I guess as you're talking to just me, but I get.
Yeah, it was nice to have the day off, especially after having been gone for 10 days or whatever in California, and just been run ragged while I was there. And I'll tell you a little bit about that later.
Okay. Well, I'll say happy birthday to my buddy Jeff. He's exactly 5 days younger than me, and today is his birthday. And he went from us working together, where he would take his birthday off every year, to finding a government job that he started this week, where on his 4th day he gets his birthday off. So it worked out okay for him.
Really?
Yeah. Huh? And then I have a friend. She's got.
It's because it's Juneteenth. Okay,
right,
they didn't give him his birthday. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And then I have a friend. She's got a coworker. It's her birthday today. And then I have a coworker of my own who's 2 days older than me. It was his birthday last week and mine. And there's a lot of Juneteenth birthdays. It's very strange.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know what was going on at the end of October. I'm not sure what holiday the parents were getting together on, but
I don't Halloween.
Busy weekend. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, all right.
Dress up in the furry costumes.
Yeah. Not my parents. We're not going to talk about that. That would be too weird. All right. So let me jump into my stats before Rich goes any farther with that. It makes me have to go back to therapy. So the goal. It's the goal. So I don't remember how I set the goal. I knew when we were podcasting that we'd be back 10 days later, not 7. But I think I said 6,000 anyway. And even with, because of the extra few days, I kind of beat it without the extra few days, but I ended up getting 7,825 words all into book 8. So I blew past the goal. I didn't blow by it on Monday if we had podcasted 4 days later. It took me a couple extra. Well, that's actually not true because I didn't write the last 2 days. Yeah, I beat the goal anyway if we were podcasting Monday. So I feel good about that. And then again, all in book 8. So now book 8 is up that 7,825 words to 27,379. I do have 6 chapters left, and I don't know. I'll talk about this later, I'm sure, but I don't know. In all of the books I've written so far, the first drafts I've written so far, 2 through 7, and the 2 novellas I've written, I didn't finish every single chapter and then say I'm done. There are a couple chapters in each book that are not written, and they're not written. Most of them are at the end. In this book, I happen to actually write the last 3 chapters already. But we'll see. We'll see how far I get with this one before I call it done. It could be 3 chapters to go. It could be 1. It could be the last 6. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. So for the year, I'm at 96,442 on my way to that 145,000. Again, way past it. Although, in thinking about it, I'm 49,000 words short. If I don't hit the goal while I'm writing book 9, and we'll talk about that, then I may not hit the goal, even though I stop writing in like July or August. Or probably August, I may not hit the goal because I won't be writing anymore. I'll be doing a lot of editing. So it's kind of an interesting thing. I'll call it a success, but I may not actually hit the number that I planned for because I just didn't plan right. So
yeah, although you do, when you edit, you expand, I imagine, just like I do.
Yeah, I don't really know how to count those words other than saying what was it when I started and what is it now? Because then if you subtract words, do you subtract them?
No.
Yes. it's kind of cheating, which I'm cool with. But yeah, so and then for per hour, I'm actually up to 1,286 words per hour. I've gone up the last 3 weeks, which is nice. A couple words each week, so it's going well.
Yeah. It's not cheating, by the way, because it's you produce those new words, and it's unfortunate that some of them were on the vine long enough that they rotted and you have to throw them away. But anyways, I didn't expect to get any writing done at all, and surprise of surprises, I actually wrote 3,751 words, and
Nice.
that was all in the last 2 days. Well, since I've been home from California, so my total words for the year sits at 131,005 words of a 200,000 word goal, and I'm right on pace to hit that goal. So makes me happy.
When you saw that it was 131,005, did you consider writing like 100 words so you could say 131,105, because that's a lot easier to say than 131,005?
No, I probably should have, but in fact, I didn't know how many words that was until about 45 seconds before I logged in.
Okay.
And I looked.
I do that sometimes. If it's a number that I don't like to say out loud, I'll add a couple more words just so the number rolls off the tongue a little, because 131,005 doesn't really roll off the tongue very well. So
no, it probably takes people a minute to imagine what that looks like on a piece of paper.
Right. It's like when you ask somebody their phone number and they're like, "Oh, it's 5559," and you start to write 9, and they go 19. And you're like, "No, you said 9."
Yeah.
All right. So let me jump into this recap. I'm going to go back to last Tuesday. We podcasted Monday night. I'm going to go back to last Tuesday. So I was in the office on that day. I don't really remember it, but I'm going off what I typed in the outline, so I hope I get it correct. I did work on editing the first. So I had my writers club on Thursday. So this is when I started working on the first scene of chapter 3 in book 7.5. This is what I was going to read to the writers club. Again, this book is from the serial killer's point of view. I've never done that before, and I do want to give them for the first time a complete story. Usually, I just jump around chapters because I write so fast. With these first drafts, I'll read like chapter 1 of book 6, and then a month later, here's chapter 21 of book 6. Now here's chapter 9 of book 7. It's kind of weird. So I'm going to read from start to finish this serial killer book 7.5. So I'm editing chapter 3 at lunch now, getting it ready to make sure it works. I actually added about 500 words to it, and then I split it into multiple scenes, and I read scene 1, and I'll read scene 2 next time. Now I didn't add those words into my word count, but it sounds like you're thinking that I should have.
How long is scene 1?
Oh golly, it's short. It was only 4 pages read. It was probably 1,100 words, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's. I was just wondering, how big it was in order for you to split it. But that's probably a good split. The first 1,000. You need the first 3 or 4 pages. You really need to capture their attention. So, yeah, that's a good way to split it.
I split it though. I didn't split it because of the word count. I'm trying to go back and look at it right now. So I split it because in chapter 2, this was kind of weird for me. In chapter 2, he's in his classroom. And then I had written chapter 3. It's like 3 weeks later, he's in his classroom. So I had like back to back, he's in his classroom. And I wasn't sure if that would be good or not.
Okay.
So I think I split it because I added something. Oh, no, I did add him in his classroom, but the students weren't there yet. So the second scene of chapter 3 is the students are there, which is very similar to the chapter 2 where the students were there. I need something in between, just kind of bridge that gap. At least I felt like it did. There's a reason for it. I mean, they liked it, told me that it was very suspenseful, that whole deal. So I was actually okay with it when I was done. Okay. So let's see. Add about 500 words. Yeah. So then Wednesday, Golf Tuesday night. So our golf league is hilarious. We have been on this amazing run in our golf league. I think I talked about it before. After like week 4, week 5, my team, my buddy Dan and I were a 2-person team. We were in 13th place out of 14. And going into that day, we were in second place, not tied for, we were in second place behind another team. And then that night, we won a whole bunch of points again, and we moved into first place. Unfortunately, the team behind us that was third place, they won a ton of points, and we left that night tied for first place with it's me who does all the secretarial work for the league, and the other team is the guy who's like the president of the league. So it's me versus him. So keep that in mind when I get to the following Tuesday, because there's a story coming. So it was good. I don't remember. I think I shot 49, maybe. I shot a pretty good score. I was pretty happy with it. Again, I always want to be in the 40s. But that was good. I mean, to come out with me and Dan in first place. I've never been in first place that far into a half, so we were very excited about it. Wednesday, nothing writing related on this day. I worked from home. I started pretty early, around 6:30. Worked until noon, and then I had to immediately cut my grass. It was bad. It's going to rain soon, and it was pretty long. I just needed to cut it. I also trimmed my apple tree. I trimmed it down. I did zero research on how you should trim an apple tree, and by the time I was done, it looked like something out of a Charlie Brown Christmas tree special. But it works. I mean, there's apples on it like crazy. I've gotten one apple in like the 3-4 years I've had it. There are probably 5 or 6 out there right now on it. They're tiny, but I'm excited to get them. I ate the one that came out last year. It was pretty good. So. And then let's see. Then I took Max to the vet. I'm getting him on a Lyme disease vaccine, which is puzzling because there's no human version of that. I asked the vet. She said, "Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know why there isn't." So that was the first one. And then I asked her. I said, "Is it going to be the same as like when I got my COVID shot, where it could hurt around the arm and he might feel sleepy or whatever?" She's like, "Yeah, it could, but that's okay." And then it's Max. He's never feeling sleepy until it's about 9:00 at night. So. I did sign back on around 3:40 and work another half an hour to get to 4:10. So, it was kind of a weird, choppy day. I ended up working about 8.5 hours overall, but kind of chopped it up a little bit. In the evening, had some dinner, cleaned up my house. And then around 7:15, I was kind of itching to play my golf game. I love this game. I can't tell you how much I love this golf game. I played for 2 hours today. It's a blast. It's so much fun. So I did what I call qualifying, which is the first 3 rounds of the next tournament. It takes about 40 minutes. I record it. And what I do is I just divide the whole thing into 5 segments and throw them aside. And then once they're all done, I just put them on YouTube. Last week, I released 5 videos, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning at 8 a.m. just to see what that would do for the viewership. That morning is better than afternoon. I have no idea. But, it's a blast. I love playing this game. It's getting in the way of my football game playing, but that's okay.
So what YouTube channel is this?
It's mine. It's Jerry E25, JERRY25. Yeah, it's my personal one. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have 242 videos up there now in only a year and 2 months, I think.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a lot. My buddy Brian, who watches all of them, he watches this too. He said, "You're putting too many videos out. I can't keep up." So, but I don't care. I love playing the game. I'm really just recording when I play. I'm not playing because I want to make a bunch of content. I'm just recording when I play, which is all the time. So Thursday I was in the office. I left super early because I had to get donuts for everybody. I didn't have to. I wanted to. And then I ended up getting there super early at like 6:30 a.m., which is weird. We ended up having a production error right about 11:40 a.m., which is when I usually go to lunch to write. So I had to fix that. Then I went to lunch about 15 minutes late. And then I had to keep editing what I had started on Tuesday just to get it ready. I didn't have a lot of time. I moved it into the folder for our writers club. Read it kind of out loud, more of a whisper to myself. Made more changes, ran it through Grammarly, and copied it into the folder. So I was ready for Writers Club that night. In the evening, I read my chapter, and it seemed to go over well. One suggestion was that I added flashbacks, which is intriguing, and I wrote "but" there, and I put ellipses because I wanted to surprise you with the story. And as we're sitting here right now, Rich, I have no idea what the story was. So... yeah, so I think it may have to do with the book I'm reading. So I'll wait until I get to that a little bit later. I think that's what it is. So on Friday, I took a half a day, went to Chick-fil-A after logging off at 11 to write. I started in the middle of chapter 10, which is where I had left off like a week earlier before I started editing the Writer Club stuff. Added 569 words to it, and that finished it. And after that, I wrote chapter 11, 1,462 words there. So it was 2,031 words for the day in about 90 minutes, maybe a little bit. It was like 95 minutes, maybe, but it was a good amount of words in a short amount of time.
Oh yeah.
Once I got home, played my football game, played some more of the golf game. The things that I tend to do now. On Saturday, it's my birthday, and it's raining, so no golf, which is pretty much how it's par for the course, if I can use a golf analogy. I did go to the casino. I hadn't been to the casino in like 3 months. And I didn't win. I lost pretty quick. So then I went to Buffalo Wild Wings to get some lunch, and I got my free 6 boneless birthday wings, and I put them in a box and took them home. But while I was there, I wrote 1,973 words in about 100 minutes, working on chapter 15. I skipped a few chapters here. This is a funeral scene that kind of started off sad, but then got more and more kind of mysterious. Not really tense, but mysterious as the scene went on. I am really happy with this one. I know it needs a whole bunch of editing. I want to ramp up the tension a little bit, but really happy with it. So then next, it's time to go home and complete what I call your trifecta, which was play my football game, my NASCAR game, and my golf game all at the same time.
Wow.
Sadly, the golf game was the one that didn't get played. I played football and I played the NASCAR game. Had a blast. By the time I was done, my back was killing me because I stand here and play. And I've already played like 3 hours today. I'm surprised my back isn't killing me yet because I'm standing here right now. I probably will soon. But then I did set up a golf game to be ready for the next afternoon after I got back from writing. Sunday was Father's Day. I did golf in the morning, and they did what this golf course does to us 2 or 3 times a year. As we're coming up the 9th fairway, they just stick a 5-some on the 10th tee. And it's one of the most frustrating things. And I was telling my mom and dad, and I realized as I was talking, I felt like I was sounding entitled. Like, you don't do that to me. I'm a member. Well, that's not really what it was. I had to like correct myself. No, this isn't me being entitled. This is a golf etiquette thing. Every golf course knows that when there are people coming up the 9th fairway, they have the right to the 10th hole. You shouldn't put a group of 5 in front of them. And there were 3 of us. So, we were annoyed. We were on the 11th hole watching them play. It was actually one guy who knew what he was doing and 4 guys who didn't. I mean, they were just hitting ground balls, basically. And so as we're on the 11th green, we're looking over at the 14th tee, which is not very far away, going, yeah, why don't we just skip the next 2 holes? So we just skipped 2 holes. We wrote down bogeys, played those well, and moved on. And we got done pretty quick after that. I mean, and I complained to the guy who runs the place. He was a good guy. I mean, I'm friends with the guy. But I'm like, Brian, why are these people even out there? These people should not be out there. They're in front of us. You should not do that. You did it to us. You did it to the group that was in front of us. We get there early on purpose. And you just stick a 5-some out in front of us. 4 of them have no idea what they're doing.
Well, why is he starting them on the 10th tee? I don't understand.
It was Father's Day. They were super busy, so they're doing what they can to get as many people on the course as possible, as many paying customers as possible. But it's etiquette. It's golf etiquette. I mean, it's silly. Right. It's just silly. So, on the way there, we had road construction, which I know was shocking because it's Ohio. I don't know how other states are, but I always say that Ohio's border signs should say "Welcome to Ohio, road construction ahead." On my way to work, the first 26 miles has 6 different road constructions, not like one that's all the same, 6 different ones. So you go out of one, and then a mile later, you're back into another one. Then you come out of that one, and 3 miles later, you're back into another one. It's the most frustrating thing ever. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, there's not a single conspiracy theory that I believe, except I do think there might be something going on with road construction and the government using it to like hide money or something. It's annoying. And every year in the same places this road construction pops up, drives me insane.
Well, I mean, my son really pegged it is that, they don't have warehouses or anything to keep all these barrels and cones. So they just store them on the roads.
That makes sense.
Yep.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. So on the way there, I thought, well, okay, my road is closed. I have to make a right, a left, and a right to go around it. Oh, here's a good spot. So I made the right. I made the left on the road that runs parallel to my road. And of course, there's road construction on that road. So I had a little bit of extra time. And I was kind of talking to myself about my books, this series. One of the things that's been bugging me since I started writing it was Sam has a job. My main character has a job. And in fact, book 1, he's at the job, at a manufacturing plant, and that's where the murder happens. Book 2, he goes into work. He's dealing with his coworkers. He's in the work a few times. Book 3 he's going to a work sponsored what do you call it? Like a conference at another company. It's work, all work related. Book 4, he's going to Vegas for another conference with his boss and some coworkers. Book 5, you never hear about work again. And I was like, I don't know what to do here because in books 5, 6, and 7, and the one I'm writing now, I never mentioned it. So if you're a reader, you're thinking like you do when you watch Friends. Like, do these people have jobs?
Yeah.
Like, it's just the middle of the day. Is it always a Saturday when we're watching this show?
Right.
So, and I was really worried about that. I didn't want to do that kind of thing, and I didn't know how to get out of it. And I kind of realized what I wanted to do, which in book 1, I introduced 6 main characters, and these are Sam and the people that he works with. And in fact, these people are based on these characters are based on real people. Me, a couple of my buddies who are coworkers, my boss, my boss's boss. These are all based on real people. And if you look at what happened over the past, from 2019 when the book was, when I was going back and forth in real life, this manufacturing plant, and 2021 when I published it, my boss, she left at the end of 2019. My boss's boss announced his retirement at the beginning of 2021. He left in September. I quit in August. My other buddy quit. I quit in July. My other buddy quit in August. The other woman, she retired in 2023. And then the 6th person, he was still there up until in January when they let him go. And I thought, I wonder if I can work this in, because I really would like in my head, I like the idea of working it in and making it like real life. I don't know why. It's kind of like an Easter egg for me. So I thought, boy, if I do this right, I can have my boss's boss announce she's leaving at the beginning of book 2. There's a meeting in that at that book right at the very beginning that she's in, and she can announce she's leaving. My boss's boss can announce he's retiring in book 4, which is when they're in Vegas. I can quit at the end of that book. My coworker can quit in the next book, and then the other woman can retire. Like, this works out really well. And if I do it with the Vegas one, that means starting in book 5, it makes sense why he's not going to his job.
Right.
But it was more than that, because I also am looking for a way to introduce my character sometime around the middle to accepting the fact that something happened with his parents' death. And now he's going to kind of go over the hump. It's kind of like the midpoint of the series. He's going to kind of switch now and start looking into it. And what I came up with was, he was working, even though they left him a big inheritance, he wasn't touching that inheritance. He was kind of afraid of it, afraid to touch it. It felt yucky doing it. He just didn't want to do it. Well, right about that time he quits, that's when he decides, okay, I'm going to dive into this. I'm going to take the inheritance. It's going to help me investigate it a little bit more. And so I'm going to work that in as part of the backstory. And that's kind of what I came up with. I kind of like the whole thing. And again, if you're ever looking for places to come up with ideas, just do it in your car. Turn your radio down, because I have the greatest ideas in my car. It's hilarious. So.
Yeah, I talk to myself in my car, but the problem is I don't listen to myself.
Yeah, that could be a problem. Yeah. That could be a problem. So made all that work. Again, it's all based on real life, which I really like. Again, it's like an Easter egg to myself, which I kind of like. So we played golf. After golf, I went to Hothead Burrito, where I did not want to go right. I really had to push myself to do this. I got there, had my burrito. I worked on chapter 16 and 17. I ended up in the end adding 1,979 words to it, which was shocking considering I did not want to even write that day. So for the weekend, it was great. I put almost 6,000 words into the weekend, those 3 days. So that was great. I mean, that was coming out of the weekend with that many words is wonderful. So, and it got me that much closer to being done. In the evening, I did play my golf game, but that was it. Played for about an hour, nothing else. And then I ate some dinner. I kind of sat on my couch watching TV until it was time for bed. I watched the end of the U.S. Open, which was really great. The course was really hard. Everybody was struggling. The winner was at I think 1 under. And then he might have been the only person under par. It was just great. It was a really fun thing to watch. So.
Yeah, I hate those tournaments where the winner is 25 under or something.
And the one that's happening this weekend is going to be like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So on Monday, this past Monday, I'm in the office. Okay. So Thursday's a holiday. I wrote in here Wednesday, but today's Thursday. Today's a holiday. And I don't have to go in on today, obviously, but I still have to go in 2 days a week. So I went in Monday and Tuesday, these 2 days, just to get the 2 days over with. And then I would have 5 or 6 days at home before I have to go back, depending on what I do next week. So I did that. On Monday, I spent some time while I was working listening to the audiobook of The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I've actually spent time reading it when I'm not at work and listening to it while I'm at work, and then syncing the two up. Now, one's in Libby, and the other one I bought the book on Kindle, so I have to manually sync it myself. But I don't know why I'm enjoying doing that. I don't know if it's just because I'm not overdoing myself with reading and overdoing the listening part, but I kind of have been switching back and forth. It's an interesting book. Yeah, and this is where I want to talk about flashbacks from earlier. This is an interesting book. I was going to talk about this later on, but I'll talk about it now with the way that she wrote it, where chapter 1 is a wedding night, and it's present day. And then she goes back in chapter 2 and literally goes 24 hours earlier, and the entire rest of the next 20 chapters are all flashback. But really, I think chapter 1 was like a flash forward. And then we go back to chapter 2 and we go through a lot. Then maybe we get chapter 21 is a now, and you get a hint of what's going on. And then you go back for 6 more chapters. Then you get a now. And it's the reverse of putting flashbacks in your book. It's so interesting. I didn't know if I was going to like it at first, like that process. The other thing is there's about 6 different POV characters that you flip around between. But the way she wrote it works. At first I wasn't sure, but I'm liking it. My only issue with it is it's taking a long time. I think I'm 70% of the way done now. I don't know what the crime is. I don't know if there's a murderer. I don't know who the murderer is. Although I will say at the 56% mark, I heard something and went, oh, that's your murderer. And I made a note to write down the person because I want to see if I'm right. But again, I'm 70% of the way in and I got nothing. I don't know what the crime is. They're still hinting at what the crime is. Yeah. So
I'm reading a book right now called The Echo of Old Books, and it is very similar to what you were describing, except the device this author uses is they found an old book with no attribution, no author, no publisher, no nothing, but very nicely bound up book and stuff from like the early part of the 20th century. And so the flashbacks is the character reading the book.
Oh,
what's in the book, and then every now and then you get a flash forward to like the present where something's happening in her life. And then,
right.
yeah, so it's interesting to
So
do that.
yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Dan had suggested in the Writers Club that I had some flashbacks in, which doesn't seem like a bad idea. I just don't want to go back, and I don't know if it'll make the book any better. So I don't think I'm going to do it, but but writing it that way, where it's like it's almost, and there was a TV show called Flash Forward a couple years ago that was really good that only lasted like one season. But the Flash Forward is an interesting. Lost did it in like season 5. They started flashing forward, or season 4. I thought it was a really interesting thing. So I might look into that at some point in a different book, not in my series, but in a different book down the road. So the other problem with this book, no, it's not a problem. The other thing about this book, I like this book. It's not a problem. The other thing about this book is that I pretty much about halfway through the book realized I hate every character. Like every character is awful, and they all have a secret, and all she does is hint at it. And we never really get anything until about 65% of the way through the book. We get the first secret, which was predictable. It was an easy one to guess. She had pretty much given it away through her conversation. But there was a lot of chapters that end with, I can't tell them about that thing that happened 10 years ago, and then it just ends. And you're like, quit doing that and just give it.
Yeah. When ChatGPT does that, that's the first thing you delete.
Exactly. So. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but again, don't get me wrong. I like the book so far. I would give it 4.5 stars. And I need to get to the end to find out what's going to happen with these people, because again, they're all awful. I mean, if this island gets washed over and everybody dies, I think it'd be a pretty good ending. Yeah. So anyway, at lunch, I opened up my novel crafter to see where I was, and of the 26 chapters I had plotted for this book, the only chapters I hadn't written were 4, 6, 12, 13, 14, 19, 20, 21, and 23. So I had 9 left, which felt good. I didn't realize I was that close to the end, which was nice. So then I figured what I would do now is just fill in the blanks, go through one by one. At 12:15 p.m., I decided to go with chapter 4. I pasted my plot into Novel Craft for chapter 4, expanded in about 40 minutes. I had 1,246 words, which is great. I literally took the plot out of my document, pasted it in there, and went paragraph by paragraph, expanding each paragraph out to get me those words. So I love that. So it was, again, 1,246 words in about 40 minutes, which is amazing. They might be really bad. They're probably pretty crappy, but I was very happy that I got that many words in such a short amount of time.
Well, that's what the zero draft is for.
Exactly. Yeah. After I got home, I thought about quickly playing a little bit of my golf game, but in the end, I did nothing. And then I got an email. Wait, why did I get? Oh yeah, on Monday. I got an email on Monday. During the day, it was in the evening. It was about 6:30, saying, "Hey, we hate to do this." It was from the course. "We hate to do this, but we have to cancel your golf league. We have the higher ups are making us do an outing, and we have to cancel it. I know it's short notice. We apologize. We'll give you discounted rates next week." And there you go. So I said, all right. So I sent an email out to everybody, forwarding the email saying golf league tomorrow is canceled. We'll be back next week. We'll do our halfway, our championship for the first half. We call it knockdown. We'll do that. And then about 5 minutes later, I got an email back from a guy saying, "Hey, I think he meant golf league's canceled next week." And then I actually read it from start to finish and went, oh yeah, he was right. I just sent that to the whole league and I messed up. And I called it. So I had to quickly correct myself and send it out. And so golf league was still on.
It sounds like you read emails the way I read them, which is you scan it, and as soon as you pick up what you think the email's about, you stop reading.
That's how I listen to people too. It's just it's a bad thing. So I woke up Tuesday morning to an email from editsbytony.com saying my story Bible was done, and as of this moment, you and I talking, I still haven't gone through it yet. I don't know if you've looked at it, because I forwarded it to you to look at. All right, so I
looked at it.
I want to get your opinion, but if you can do like no spoilers, that would be good.
Okay. It was interesting. Yeah, why don't we wait till you look at it and then we can talk about it.
I'm gonna look at it this weekend. So, okay.
Okay.
All right. So I was back in the office on Tuesday for work. This was 2 days ago, and while I'm driving in, again, mute my radio and start thinking. I'm really thinking about how much I want to get back to book 2 to start editing it so I can release it. Especially with getting my story Bible back. It's like, oh, I have this roadmap now for book 1 with everything I need to know about my characters. That way I won't forget anything or get anything wrong. I really want to go back to book 2 and start editing it. And I can do book 9 at the end. I'm starting to make excuses to myself. Hey, I can do book 9 at the end because when I get to book 8 finished and released, I'll have everything out there. I'll know everything about every character. I'll be ready to write book 9. I'm just making these excuses to myself. And as I'm typing this into the outline today, this paragraph to say, I'm really starting to talk myself into it. And I thought to myself, well, who am I, other than the people who listen to the podcast, who am I really, who do I answer to? Like, I don't answer to anybody.
Right.
I can do myself if I want to. I can make that decision. So there's a 50-50 chance right now that once I'm done with book 8, I go back and start editing book 2. And I wait until the very end to do book 9, but I haven't decided yet. I feel like that goes against what I've been saying for the last 2 years, but it's also okay if I do that. So I don't know yet. I don't know. Thoughts? Anything?
Well, if you've only got 6 or 7 chapters left to go in that book.
In book 8, yeah.
Oh, in book 8.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was book. Oh, you haven't touched book 9 yet.
No, I've just done a tiny bit of plotting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would be, for me, it would be really an uncontrollable urge to go back and edit.
Yeah, I want to publish in 2 years.
Exactly. And just at least get 3, 4, 5, whatever, 6 out, and then you can come back around. But then once you do publish, those things, they're not necessarily written in stone, but you don't want to go back and make any major changes to them.
Right.
And whatever happens in the rest of 8 and then 9 may require something. So.
And then here's the problem. There's the suspects for book 9 are made up of characters from the first 8 books.
Right.
So one of two things happens. Number one, I go back and start editing and publishing the first 8, and I really get those characters set in stone. Like, I know who they are, I know where they were, I know what they do, I know why they might have did it, why they didn't do it, whatever. And now when I write book 9, I'm like, all right, this is good. Or I'm writing book 9 going, oh, I wish I would have done this with that character back in book 3.
Right.
Which I think is more likely to happen if I do this. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm probably going to plot book 9 though before I go back to edit book 2. I'm probably going to plot it. So then at lunch, I walked across the street to this place called Something Good. It's this little restaurant that opened up. I think I talked about it last week. The first 2 times I've gone there, the food was really, really good. Today was the legit opening. I thought the last couple of weeks was the soft opening. So this was they were really busy. I got to the counter and the guy who works the food, it's a really small place. And the guy who actually does the cooking looked out at me, saw my Kent State shirt. Hey, it's Kent State guy. Honey, come over here. And he brings his wife over from inside, and she looks through the window. My wife went to Kent State too, and it's like, oh, nice to meet you. I don't know what to say. And then while I was standing there were people filming, and I'm like, there was a woman standing there with 2 cell phones pointing at somebody else as they were ordering. She was like right beside each other, just pointing. I'm like, what is she doing? So then I went over and waited, and while I'm waiting, she's kind of standing close to me. I go, what are you guys filming? And she said, oh, it's social media. They hired us to do a lot of social media stuff for them. She's like, do you mind if I'll give you a microphone. You can tell us what you ordered. I'm like, I don't care. So she did. And then she pointed her phone at me. So now I'm like, I started following her on Instagram just to see if I showed up on one of their stories. Haven't yet, but we'll see. Yeah.
You would if you went on and on about how good the food was.
Well, I did say that I love the fries. I do love their fries. They're really good. They're some of the best fries I've ever had from any fast food place. They're really good. So the problem was, because it was their opening, they were super busy. I left my desk at 11:40. By the time I got back to my spot up front where I eat, it was where I write, it was 12:10. By the time I finished eating, it was 12:20. Like, I scarfed it down. I did not have much time to write. So what I did was I took the chapter 6 plot that I had in my Word doc, and I expanded out some more. I put it in a novel crafter. It was about 500 words. And I just said, well, I'll edit this, next time I go to write, which would have been, what is today? Today's Thursday, which would have been yesterday. I think it would have been yesterday. I can't even tell what day it is. I'm getting lost on the days right now. I just didn't get a lot of time, which is disappointing, but that's okay. In the evening, then this was Tuesday, we had our golf league, and now it's time for the championship round. We had to do championship round 1 week early due to the cancellation next week. So again, it was me and the guy that, me and my teammate versus the guy the president of the league. So I run it. He's like the figurehead president. He makes all the plans, pays all the money to the people. And it was funny. We had to make this decision. Do we have the championship tonight and make it 9 weeks on both halves? Or do we wait another week to have the championship and do this week like it was normally scheduled as our 9th week, and then have the championship on July 1st? And we were like, no, we got to have it this week. And now I can think of it as, of course of course you guys are going to have it this week. You're playing each other. And if we have one more normal week, one of you could drop out of first or second and somebody else can get in there. So naturally you're playing. No, nobody cares as much as I do. But so we start playing, and I was really, really bad the first 4 holes. My partner was really, really good. So we were pretty close to even after 4. And then I came to life and my partner fell apart. But this was more on me than him. I lost 12-8. He lost 11-9. So we lost 23-17 overall, and we did not win the first half championship, which is sad. I really thought we had a chance, but kind of disappointing. But so that was fine. I mean, that was it for the golf league. I did not play well. I shot 52, but I got a 9 on a hole. I never get 9s. So you give me a 6 on that hole or even a 5 on the hole like normal, and I'm shooting 48. We're probably going to have a closer match. Maybe even we win if I do that. It was just one bad shot on the second hole. I put it right into the weeds that were like at a 45-degree angle from me where I was aiming, and it was just bad. So, yeah. Wednesday, I worked from home. Nothing writing related at lunch. I did play my golf game, and I finished the segment I wanted to finish exactly 12:59 p.m., so that worked out well. Back at my work desk by 1. I'm working from home, so my work desk got up by 1, which is great. Did nothing the rest of the evening except watch the weather. We had a lot of storms last night. There were tornadoes. Not around me, but they were out there in this line of storms. I think there was some more south and east of us. I think near the Pittsburgh area, maybe. Which was fine.
So did you literally sit there and watch the Weather Channel or what?
Well, no. What I watched is a guy that does the local news, does his own YouTube weather report called Weather for Weather Geeks. And it's usually like 10 minutes long, but this was just a live. He went live to show I love watching the radar. I love watching the radar move. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a big. So I watched about an hour and a half of him. Yes. I went to bed at 10 p.m. and the rain started hitting my air conditioner so hard that I couldn't sleep. Like 2 minutes later, I'm like, all right, Max, we're not going to bed yet. Let's go back downstairs for another half an hour.
Yeah. And I don't know if you can pick it up through this mic because this mic is so directional, but it is booming outside right now and lightning. Yeah. We're getting ready to have a big storm too.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Ours is done. I think we're done now. I think tomorrow, the next like 4 or 5 days are going to be beautiful. I might get to golf this week on Saturday and Sunday, which is exciting. So today's a work holiday. I treated it like a Saturday in the winter, no golf. So I went to Chick-fil-A first in the morning. And again, at this point, I have 7 chapters left. 4 of them are from the bad guy's POV. And again, I don't think I'm going to finish all of them before calling it the first draft done. And then either moving on to book 9 or moving up to book 2. We'll see. I only worked on 1 chapter today. It wasn't there very long. I did chapter 6, 596 words. This is the one that I expanded the plot on when I was at work on Tuesday. And then I left. I took off. I was ready to go home. This is where I was talking about the book. I talked about it earlier, The Guest List by Lucy Foley. So I don't need to talk about that. And then I came home, played my football game, played my golf game, had some dinner. And that's it. We're podcasting, and when we're done, I'm going to go sit in the front. I'm not doing anything the rest of the night. So,
yeah. For me, it was a weird 10 days or so. The morning after we were podcasting last on Tuesday, we flew out of New Orleans, going to California, to Los Angeles. My sister accused us of going to do some riot tourism, but we didn't do any of that. In fact, never saw any of it. And then I realized, in fact, I was kind of looking it up while we were on the flight, realized that, all this, what the media makes sound like it's such a big deal, it's all happening within like a 5-block square area.
Yeah.
And there's just like the rest of the city of 12 million people just going about their day.
Even here, I saw headlines on Thursday last week saying there were going to be these big rallies in all the little cities around me, and some of these places are where I go to write. And then I drove around. I had forgotten actually on Saturday that it was even happening. When I got home that night, I was looking at some news headlines, and I saw it again. And I was like, I never saw a single thing. It's the media being the media.
Yeah. So we got there on Tuesday, didn't do anything on Tuesday, went out to eat. I can't remember where we went right offhand. But got up first thing in the morning, literally first thing in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, and had to go to the first of many ceremonies we had to go to during the time that we were there. My son got he's graduating with his PhD, but he got an award for being the top PhD student, and had to do a seminar, and they had all the plaques and stuff they were handing out. Because they had other awards as well. And then so we did that. that took like 3-4 hours. I don't know if you ever sat through any of these kind of award ceremonies, but it is really, really hard to stay awake during that. So I had to keep on pinching myself in order to stay awake. Then we went back to their apartment and started helping them pack because they were going to be leaving really soon for Michigan in their real life and their real jobs. So we did that. Went out to eat someplace else. I don't remember. Then on Thursday, it was my daughter-in-law's turn to go to a ceremony where she received her PhD hood and got her awards and stuff. And it was really funny because her award came with a $2,000 check. My son's award came with a $1,000 check.
Oh.
So by extension, we now know that her PhD dissertation was twice as good as his.
Yes.
So that's, and I kept telling him that the whole time I was there. I think he got kind of annoyed with me by the end. Thursday night, same kind of thing. We were packing up. I tell you what, my son really lucked out marrying this girl because she's as big a slob as he is. I have never seen a kitchen that was dirtier and more full of grease, except for my brother's when he was off the rails. But yeah, it took me 2 nights in a row in order to clean that kitchen up for him. And it's just a little small apartment kitchen, so it was kind of wild. Friday, let's see, what did we do Friday? Friday was actually the Caltech graduation, the official one. So we went there, we saw him get his hood, had to sit through.
What does that mean, get his hood?
Well, it's part of the regalia. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen like the Oxford Dons or the PhD Dons. They got the big robes on.
Probably. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that's part of that robe and the hat, part of the robe is a hood that's actually in the back. You know, you don't really see it, and I don't know what the origin of it is, but it's usually it's multicolored, usually the school colors, and I don't know if its origin is something that has to do with monks at one point in time or whatever. But yeah, it's just a whole thing that they do. But then came all the undergrads that they had to go through. You know, there's not all that many PhDs, but there's a slew of undergrads. So we just had to sit through all of that. Took up most of the Friday. Going into Friday evening, we were getting pretty tired by this time, and so we went out to eat. My son's in-laws took us out to a Chinese buffet, and I ate way too much. I had to try one of everything. There was literally like 56 different entrees that you could try, and then all the other things that they had. So yeah, I got way too stuffed, went home, and then spent the rest of Friday evening working on a case of indigestion that kept me from sleeping.
Yeah.
But luckily Saturday we had the day off. We didn't have to go to any ceremonies or anything, so we spent that whole day packing up hard. And it's amazing. I mean, they've only been in that apartment since they've been married, so about 3 years now, almost 3 years. And it's amazing the stuff that was coming out of closets and cabinets and stuff. There's a lot of boxes. I think there was like 50 some boxes, 60 some boxes by the time we were done packing everything up.
I've been here 24 years. I fear what's in the back of my closets.
We keep on talking. We have for like the last 10 years about moving north, moving someplace where there's seasons, but I can't get over the hump of thinking about how hard it's going to be to go through all our stuff.
Yeah.
And get it packed up and go.
It's like you want to get a dumpster and just throw half of it away.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably what I would do. My wife would never do that though. Now they are lucky because the 2 schools they're going to teach at, both of them are paying, chipping in to pay for all their moving expenses.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So, they don't have to pay for any of that. Although my son had just realized that I got to claim that on taxes. That's like income. I have to claim it and then pay taxes on it. So instead of getting like $10,000 or $12,000 worth of free moving, you're then going to have to pay like $3,000 or $4,000 of taxes.
Wait, what does he have to claim?
It's considered when somebody gives when you get moved like that and they pay for the moving, it's counted as income.
Really?
On your taxes. Yeah.
I had no idea that. Yeah. That's silly. Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, but my in-laws, I mean, they helped out with that. They sent him a $5,000 check for graduation. Nice. That'll basically cover the taxes for that.
Can you let them know that
So-
I graduated with a master's in 2014 and I haven't got my check yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunday we got up, and that was Joyce's official graduation with all the undergrads and stuff. And I tell you what, the difference between Caltech and UCLA and the way in which they planned and organized their graduations is like night and day. Caltech, I guess a school, a bunch of engineers and scientists, everything was figured out down to the last detail. Everything ran right on time. Now, that wasn't the case at UCLA, and the way in which they did their venues, the venues were outside, which is fine because it's Southern California, it never rains, as the song says, in Southern California. But what it doesn't tell you is that it's sunshiny all the time. And I forgot to take a hat, and I fried the top of my head like you wouldn't believe. It didn't blister, but if I was out there much longer, probably would have. In fact, right now you probably can't see it on the camera, but my whole top of my head is flaking off. It looks like I have the worst case of dandruff ever. Killed all those skin cells. But we did that, and then we after that was all done. Again, it was another 3-4 hours. I took the kids and my son's in-laws out to eat as reciprocity, quid pro quo for the other one. And we went to this family restaurant where I had a decent sized meal. It wasn't too huge, but I tried to do it. But then they had strawberry pie. There was their seasonal pie. And I love any kind of pie, especially berry pies. And they had strawberries in this pie that were, all of them, every single one was bigger than a golf ball. Ooh. They were humongous. And that put me over the edge on Sunday. So I now had 2 days in a row where I was over the edge of how much I ate. But I survived that night. It wasn't too bad. We had to get up the next day. We did a little bit of packing. My son went in. He conned, I don't know how he did this, but he conned Caltech out of a piece of machinery that was just kind of sitting there being unused. Conned them out of it in order to take with him to his new station over at Hope College in Michigan to use it. It was a spectrometer.
Spectrometer. Okay, I've heard
spectrometer. Yeah. It's $100,000 piece of equipment. Actually, $120,000 piece of equipment. Wow. And then I did ask him, like, how'd you get them to give this to you? And he goes, well, or on paper, because it's an institution and they can't just give stuff away.
Yeah.
And it turns out they're not giving it away. What it is, it's a no cost loan of the equipment with an option for 5 years with an option for another 5 years, at which point the thing will be obsolete.
Yeah. That sounds like something you have to claim on your taxes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, luckily it's a school that'll have to do that. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Oh, so he got it. Oh, for the school or the place.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
I thought he was going to have to set up his house.
He had to get it packed up and ready to go. So Monday we did that. He had to buy a crate from Uline. This crate was like 4 by 4 by 4, so a big, huge cube. He bought 64 cubic feet of. Was it 64 cubic feet? Yeah, I think 64 cubic feet of packing peanuts. Had to disassemble the machinery. Had to get it all bolted down and strapped down to a pallet, and then had to build the sides of the box around it. And then when it was all done, he took it over to the loading dock using a pallet jack. He had calculated it was like going to be like 600 or 700 pounds. Turned out to be like 1,300 pounds worth of machine.
No wonder she got 2,000 and he got 1,000.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's he doesn't have to pay for the shipping. The school's going to pay for the shipping. So
nice.
But so he's got that to start off his lab. The school gave him, I think, almost $200,000 to buy lab equipment. So once he gets there, he'll be able to start building up his lab a little bit. So we did that Monday, got that finished, got that to the loading dock and ready to send out. I don't know if you know, they got these little things that you can stick on the outside of your boxes, especially for big boxes like that. But I assume you could use it for any kind of box that will tell you whether or there's these little sensors that will tell you whether or not the package has been tipped or dropped or turned upside down anytime during shipping. So they did that on that thing just because the value is so much on it. But I I'd like to do that sometime on something I send through U.S. the Postal Service and see what happens to it.
Yeah.
Just to see.
You'll get it just going end over end over end.
Right.
Over
Exactly.
and over again. Yeah.
Exactly. And then, so when we got that done, and we had a flight out at 5:00, so we got to the airport about 3, sailed right through. And my son said, "This is the way LAX is. You think it's one of the biggest airports in the country in terms of volume of traffic and everything, but there's never any problems at TSA. You just walk right through." Now, I had a little bit of a skirmish. Skirmish is too big of a word. A little bit of a tete-a-tete with one of the TSA agents because I was trying to lighten up his day and make a joke, and he was not having it. So.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he was a grumpy Gus.
Yeah.
Sure. Now this is as opposed to the last time we went through LAX coming home from there, where the TSA agent was actually singing and dancing and stuff. So I guess I have to watch out. I have to take my clues a little bit better.
Yeah.
For what the agents do.
Read the room. Yeah.
Yeah, read the room. Didn't get back to New Orleans because of the time change and flying east till after midnight. Didn't get back to Baton Rouge till 2 a.m.
Wow.
And then I had to get up the next morning and go to work. And went to work. I didn't have to go to work right in the morning because it was Tuesday. I didn't start till noon, so I was still able to get 7 hours of sleep or so. Got there, and luckily the place was still there. I had seen videos from when I was gone where it looked like somebody had brought a water feature into the library because the ceiling was pouring water.
Really?
It looked like some kind of a spa shower coming into the library.
Damage? Books damage or anything?
No, luckily it was in the children's room, and it was in the play area. Okay. So it wasn't right over on top of books. But apparently one of the we've got ceramic, I guess it's ceramic tiles on the roof, kind of a Mediterranean Spanish kind of look, which I do a lot down here with architecture. And apparently one or two of those cracked and just let a whole bunch of water in. But that had been cleaned up by the time I got back, and nothing else seemed to be terribly out of sorts. And the traffic was really low on Tuesday. So I spent a good part of my time, especially after 6:00, writing. And that's where I got about half those 3,000 plus words. And then the same thing happened on Wednesday. That was more of a normal day where I got in at 9, and it was kind of busy up until about mid-afternoon. Then things really slowed down, mainly because there were thunderstorms rolling through, and people tend to hide out when it's raining hard down here. But I got the other half of the words. So when I didn't think I was going to get any words at all, I actually got 3,000 words. So that was a good couple of days.
What sparked it? What got you going? Because you took a little bit of a break.
I was bored. I had started this about a week ago. Just before I left, I had done the first scene with ChatGPT, and so I just, while I was gone, I guess it was kind of rolling around in the back of my head, and I had some ideas. I was bored. I didn't have anything else to do. At that point, I had started this book, the Echo of Old Books, but I didn't. I wasn't far enough in to really be captured by it yet. And I'm still not sure. I mean, I'm probably in about 8 or 9 chapters. I'm still not sure I'm captured by it. It is our book club book, so I'm going to have to read it one or the other. It was nice to see, too, while I was gone, that they did have their book club meeting, which was kind of up in the air last Thursday because one of the members had passed away.
Oh, geez.
One of the old time members, but they decided to just do it anyways. And we had like twice the number of people. And I've been pushing hard in terms of the advertising and marketing of this book club. So I hope that keeps up. But it means we probably have like about 5 or 6 new members now that I haven't even met yet.
Nice.
So yeah.
Don't you run it? You're running it, right?
Well, I'm not really running it. What I'm organizing is access to books. Because what I do is I bring in all the books in the entire system that we have, and I capture them, and they stay in our library for book club people to check out. And I make sure we've got the room, and then I do all the advertising. I do the Facebook stuff. I do I do the flyers. I do we have a monthly like magazine that the library
Oh, wow.
publishes. I make sure it gets in there. I make sure it gets on into the online digital calendar. So I'm just doing a lot of the background work. And the way they run the book club is every week somebody is assigned to lead the discussion on the books. So
Okay.
I don't have to do any of that. And then today I got up, slept in a little bit because I was up in the middle of the night. So I got out of bed probably about 8 o'clock or so, had breakfast, and then went outside and did a whole bunch of stuff in preparation for letting our chickens out of the coop. They've finally gotten big enough where they can have the roam of the yard, or the back half of the yard. So I had to put, this year I put a bunch of vegetables, beans and eggplant and tomatoes and stuff back there. So I had to put up a fence around her, else they eat it all off, eat everything there. So I did that, buried some irrigation pipe, which if the pipe is laying on top of the ground, they like to peck at it. And next thing you know, it's leaking all over the place. And just a bunch of, odds and ends like that, until luckily I was scheduled to do the recording here with you, because otherwise I probably would have stayed out there and probably had a heat stroke.
Yeah.
And I came in at 4:45 my time, so about 15 minutes before we were scheduled to podcast, and I drank an entire liter of Gatorade. And then while we've been sitting here, I've drunk a second liter of Gatorade. So I think I was down a little bit on the moisture.
Yeah.
So that was my 10 days. It was very interesting in terms of dealing with the kids. They are flying out. They're staying with her family, which is there in the Los Angeles area, and they're flying out to Michigan on Monday, and they'll be there for their new job.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's got to make you a proud dad.
It does. It does. I got a lot of great pictures, and yeah, it does. I mean, they've both worked hard for it, and they both got a lot of kudos for what they did. And yeah, we'll see what they do in the future. It'll be really interesting.
Good.
So, and I don't have anything new on my list of things to do, just because I haven't really been thinking about any of it.
Yeah, me either.
I did, in terms of my dieting, the Noom thing that I've been doing, I just kind of threw it out the window the whole time I was gone, and kind of burned like 2 weeks worth of progress off. But
but the last 2 days you might have gotten them back just being outside. The last 24 hours where being outside.
I might. Yeah. I'm back to being down only 8 pounds instead of being down like 10 or 11.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah. I will probably be able to recoup that here in the next week.
Yeah, I don't have anything either. It's mostly about marketing stuff, which I'm not ready to start doing. So I'm addicted to, it's this golf game, not only playing it, but like I'm watching other people play it on YouTube like crazy. And those videos are long, so they last a couple of days of me just checking in and checking out whenever I can. So it's been a lot of fun, and I kind of keep them on as background noise. I love watching people play these games. So it's blast.
My addicted to, I didn't put anything down here, but I know right away what it is. Have you ever watched the YouTube channel Cliff Beats Classics?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you gotta check that out. It's pretty interesting. It's out of Chicago. I think it's out of Chicago. And it's a guy and his girlfriend. Her girlfriend's a cute little Latinx.
Is her name
girl.
Karen?
It is.
Yes, I do know that channel.
Yeah. So I stumbled across it about a week or so ago, and I've just been watching one after another of their.
They react.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Karen, the Dancing Queen. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Right. Yeah, I do know who it is. Yeah.
And she's very quick to cry when it's an emotional song. So, but yeah, that's been my addiction, I think.
So in terms of my schedule for the next week, so we're gonna podcast Monday. You want to get back into the swing and just go like 4 days from now, or do you want to wait until the following Monday?
Oh, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, let's just get back to Monday. Let's just go Monday night.
Okay.
And so I'll just do the schedule for the next 3. I'll just do the schedule for the next 4 days. And I wrote everything on here just in case. So Friday I'm working from home. This is tomorrow. I'm working from home. It'll be a full day since today was a holiday, so I'm not taking like a half day like I normally would. I probably won't do any writing, but you never know. At lunchtime, I might come back here and try to sit at this desk and try to do. I did it a couple weeks ago; it was really successful. So I may look into doing that tomorrow just to get something going. As I get close to the end of this book, I start to get like, I can write that chapter later, that kind of thing. So that's why I only wrote 596 words today. It's kind of like I'm almost done here. tomorrow and Sunday I'll golf both days. The weather was looking good, but it's gonna be like 90 both days. But we'll golf at 6:40 a.m. and be done by 10.
Oh yeah, it won't be bad.
So should be fine for both. Then I'll come home. It looks like it's just gonna be 2 of us both days. So we'll be done by like 9:30 both days, which is nice. I'll come home. I'll do my writing like normally after both of them. On the Saturday, I'll run any errands I have to run. On Sunday, I'll get groceries, and in both cases, in the evenings, I'll do some gaming. I'm sure, have some fun there. And then on Monday, I'm in the office. So I'm not sure yet. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go in on Monday. Again, we don't have to go on Thursday anymore. It used to be the required day. Now it's like our preferred day.
Mm-hmm.
Next Thursday, there's a baseball game at 1:00. I hate that because I get there, 6:45. They've already put parking up to $20. I could park in the back where other people park behind the building. I don't like walking through this alley in the morning like that when there's nobody. There's a dark alley back there. Even in the daylight, I don't like walking through it. So I may not go in Thursday. I might do like Monday, Tuesday. I don't have golf either. So I could do like Tuesday, Wednesday. I could do Monday, Wednesday. Right. I'm going to talk to my coworker tomorrow, find out what he wants to do, because him and I pretty much should be there at the same time if possible. And if so I'm not sure. Either way, Monday, though, I'm going to write at lunch. I'll try to get 1,000 words at lunch, whether it's sitting here or in the office. I can set a goal up for that for this next 4 days. And that would be 3 writing sessions. I'm not going to go with the math I usually go with because, again, I'm getting close to the end of this thing. So I'm just going to go with 3,000 words. I don't even know if I'm going to hit that. So I'll just go with 3,000 words and we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah. Well, me, I've got of the next 4 days, I work 3 of them. So I'm going to say that I'm going to throw out a 3,000 word goal as well, thinking that it's not going to be terribly busy on the weekends. It usually isn't. I do have Sunday off, but Sunday I'll be doing a bunch of stuff at church, so I probably won't get a chance to write then. So I'm going to shoot for 3,000 words, see if I can get. I've gone through. Let's see. I think I'm up to a little over 5,000, maybe almost 6,000 words on the second Cozy Mystery. So I'm in chapter 4 right now. So if I can get 4, 5, and 6 done, and these are relatively short chapters, if I can get 4, 5, or 6 done, then I would be happy with that. Okay. And that would be a good 4-day goal. So 3,000 words for me.
All right. Anything to share?
No, nothing at all.
I also have nothing. So that's going to be the end of the podcast this week. If you want to get in touch with me, you can check the website, jerryevanoff.com. You can email me, jerry@jerryevanoff.com. And then, we do the podcast and we do the YouTube videos. You can find us in all those places. Just search Do Other Podcast.
Yeah, you can email me at rich@richcacy.com, and I can be found on Blue Sky at Kacy himself.
All right, that is going to be the end for this week. And we'll talk to y'all in 4 days. June 23rd, it's a Monday night. We'll talk to you then.
Yep, have a fantastic weekend.